I need to ask you a question. Be curious, Drifters.
Amelia's Jewel hits the front. Emma is coming right away for Damien Oliver.
Bella Nipotina, and boy, doesn't she deserve this.
The Giga Kick's got a strong kick.
Golden Mile, soar out the mile. I'm thunderstruck over the top. Mr. Brightside has won the mile.
And Militarized blows them away in the Champagne Stakes. And she's a class act, pulling right away Prowess. And Zugotcha won it by 2.5.
Zaki, joined by Animo, who looks destiny in the face.
When I say Derby Day, what do you think of?
Purple Polo Day.
Sure.
That's what I think of.
Well, not for this will be the second year without it.
Yeah, but that's what it actually is, though.
Yeah.
For us.
Sure.
It's Purple Polo Day. And if you're an old school drifter, you'll know what I'm talking about. But most of them probably don't.
Yeah, so do you care to give the 30-second synopsis?
Don't really give a fuck about the newbies. If you ain't with us from the start, then are you well and truly with us? No. Jokes, bruh.
Why are you so serious?
Yeah, exactly.
On, chill out,
Why
man.
are you so butthurt, man?
Yeah, chill out.
No, so effectively, when we first started the podcast, it was actually called the Polo Punk Club podcast because we had like a running, I guess, discourse in our group of mates where there was some polos that were better than others. Like your Navy polos, clearly
Superior.
Yeah, high quality, high caliber, crisp, easy going polo Ralph Lauren. We're talking the short sleeve, like 3-button ones. And we, as a group, clearly established that the worst polo that you could possibly wear is a purple polo.
Yeah.
So on Derby Day, what we do as a group is whoever basically had the shittest day on the punt. And look, sometimes working out who had the shittest day on the punt can take hours.
We overthought it.
Whiteboards.
Ridiculous behaviour. Why? It was so obvious who had. There's usually one person who clearly had a stinker, but then, just to put salt into the wound, we were like, no, you need to make sure that you send through your bets, blah blah blah.
It was just a load of dross
Yeah.
by the end of it, and it just became too complicated. But long story short, drifters, if you had the worst day on Derby Day, you were awarded the purple polo, and therefore you were the purple polo recipient for the rest of the year until Christmas came around again, aka Derby Day.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's what I think of when I think of Derby Day. We've gotten rid of that now. We've scrapped it. Now it's just about just enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's the best day to punt.
Enjoy the day. 9 races at Flemington. There should be, 3 or 4 at Rosehill that really get us up and about, including the Golden Eagle, which we have a sensational record in.
One of the best rides/wins I've ever seen in the Golden Eagle. Bossy on Colding.
On the inaugural.
Yeah.
That was sensational.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, remember Stinky cheering on Sunlight at Flemington?
Where are they now?
I honestly have no idea where Stinky is.
He's in a trash can somewhere. Oscar. Grouchy. Oh, yeah, he was stinky. Yeah, I'm better than you. But yeah, look, Derby Day is such a great day. The good thing about it is, you just need to jag a couple.
Yeah.
Because typically it's $4 or $5 a field, if not better, for a lot of the races. So, yeah, lots to cover because there's a lot of group races.
Should we get into it? Was there any other news that you wanted to touch on beforehand?
Oh, nothing springs to mind immediately.
I'll get to one talking point when we get to the Carbine Club. I think it's fascinating, and I want to get our popcorn out and then discuss what's happened.
Okay.
So that's what they call a horizontal tease. Maybe it's a vertical tease.
I don't know.
I think it's a vertical tease because it's going to be later on in the same day.
Okay, I gotcha.
Anyway.
That's storytelling 101, drifters.
Yeah.
The two of us, storytellers, and main characters. What do you think of when you think of Derby Day? Didn't ask you that in reply.
Just picking winners. That's what I think of.
Pretty good track record.
I think I've had one time where I've had two times where I've had an absolute stinker on Derby Day, and it actually happens every couple of years. So, but I don't know. I look through this, and I got a few that I'm pretty keen on.
Yeah, Same.
All right. What do you think of when I say the Coolmore Stud Stakes?
Home Affairs has made a mess of them. That's the first thing that comes to mind. What about you?
I'd say probably Merchant Navy back in 2017.
That was a phenomenal win, literally from the clouds.
Yeah, and he proved it overseas as well. That's probably one of the best. I'd say this is now the top race on the day across the country now.
The Coolmore Stud, yeah. Because
the grand final for the three-year-olds over the sprinting trip, and we see them all. Like, look at this field. It reminds me of the Merchant Navy time because there's 19 runners.
It's phenomenal. Such an important race for the Australian breeding industry as well. Because
who's going to be fucking out of this?
Yeah, who's going to be? No one when a filly wins, it'll tell you that much for free. Deflated bloody trainers and breeding operations all over the country when a filly wins this race.
It's funny you say that.
Why? I wasn't ha-haring.
Because I think one filly has a sensational chance.
Yes.
So, the Coolmore Stud Stakes, 1,200 metres, set weights for the 3-year-olds. I just struggled to go, where do I look here for the speed? I have Osmosis, Stapati, Moravia drawn to the rail side, and then the likes of like Mexico and V8 and maybe Snap back to the grandstand side. They could split. I don't know. What do you reckon?
I'm not sure either, mate. It's Derby Day plays differently all the time. Hopefully we have a clearer idea by the time this race rolls around. From what I've sort of gathered this season so far, they've typically been sort of coming into the middle for the straight races. So that's what I'm anticipating. I'm anticipating them to sort of come into the middle, which says to me that there's probably not too many draws or barriers that you don't want in this race. I know that barrier 1 typically down the straight is a little bit toxic, but I don't know. I don't read into that as much as others might. But yeah, like you're looking for some speed in the race. I still think there will be just by, nature of the fact that it's a massive field.
The sheer girth of the field.
Yeah, it's a massive field. So I'm looking for something that can stalk behind that and just come storming over the top of them. And I've sort of got this principle now where, like, ever since Home Affairs, I'm just going to back something that runs in the Everest that continues on to this race, irrespective of how it went in the Everest. So that obviously leads you into the first two in the market and the first two in the race. Number 1, Shinzo, and number 2, Cylinder. Of the two of them, Cylinder was a lot better in the Everest Drifters, and he's also way more consistent. And of this lot, he's probably going to finish in the top 4 because that's what he does, Cylinder.
Yep.
Am I happy to take him on? 100% Drifters, happy to take him on. I reckon the Everest was his grand final, and I don't like afterthoughts.
As a rule, we don't. This is what this podcast has been built on.
It's the foundation.
That and the good people at Ned's.
Yep. The good people at Ned's and afterthoughts.
And without a fight.
Yeah.
And the plenty of winners that you've tipped over 150 episodes.
And Animo. So, okay, who does that leave me with, Drifters? The Golden Slipper winner, Shinzo. Oh, I just got a sense of timing about him.
Sure.
And I just reckon that Chris Waller has got this guy about to explode, which is what he'll be doing a lot of come springtime next year. Shinzo. J-Mac on, draws perfectly, stalked to speed. Yeah, he's been on top of here. I was hoping for a slightly better price, but what that suggests to me is that the people framing the markets and I think very much alike. In with a good chance.
Yeah. All right. I want to ask you a question. Who's a better track worker, Shinzo or Malkovich? Malkovich lost a trial for the first time ever. Oh, according to Chris Waller, this is the best horse that he's ever trained for 1. And 2, it's the best horse, according to his data, that can put up these sensational numbers with all the data tracking software that he has.
Hey, I'm not a data guy.
Yeah. Well, I need to see this thing actually do something on the track rather than the training track.
Yeah.
I'm against him, mate. I'm against both of them. Like, the reason being is just because for the reasons outlined for him, I just need to see him do it, you know? And early in that 2-year-old prep, I saw him back up in the Golden Slipper and I was like, I want to see this horse over a mile. That was my first interpretation of him, and that's how I actually think he would be far better out to the mile. And we might see that in the autumn next year, but, you know, it is what it is. Cylinder, 5th run of the prep, gives me
Icky vibes?
Jacquino vibes. Golden Rose into an Everest, into a Coolmore.
Did he have 2 lead-up runs into the Golden Rose? I think he did.
Yeah, and that's the type of vibe I get from him. So I'm happy to take him on as well. So that might make you think, where the hell are you going?
Where are you steering into?
Well, what the hell's Stretan Angel done wrong?
She's a big price.
Her price is enormous.
Big price. She's right in the conversation. Right in the conversation. Beat I Am Unstoppable fair and square last start, and he's slightly shorter in the market with the good people at Ned's.
That's the Blake Shin factor. Because you have, what's Daniel? Is it Daniel Stackhouse?
It is Daniel.
Yeah. So Cousin Dan is on. Now that is because Jamie Carr was on first time this prep, and then Damien Lane is now in Sydney. So, and Jamie Carr has a sensational affiliation with V8, Tony and Calvin McAvoy as well. So that's why she's going in that direction, I would say. But Stretan Angel, mate, I'm really, really taken by her this prep. I think she just maps like that September run type of prep. 3rd up here, been down the straight both runs. You know, she's proven in those big fields as well. A field of 19, first up, where she was very entitled to, you know, run on there. But she's going to be 3rd up, peaking here in a field of 19, getting a gun run from the likes of Cylinder and V8 as well.
Right in there with a chance. She had a bit of a think about it when she got to the front. Think about it, lol. Last start, but still managed to get over the top of I Am Unstoppable. So if she can just sharpen up a little bit, which, yeah, maybe 3rd up, and with more experience, this is only her 5th start, right?
Exactly.
I think she's definitely in with a chance. Horse that I imagine that you'd be relatively keen on is number 5, King's Gambit. We haven't touched on him.
Yeah, I can't understand his price. $8.
Big price.
I'm
I
blown
thought he'd
away.
start like 5s.
Yeah, I'm blown away because in the all-in markets, he's just been that $5, you know? Maybe it's the inside draw. I don't know. But for him, I actually don't mind that at all. If he finds the rail and can just follow that and clear running, I reckon that might just give him something to actually focus on.
Yeah, and for a horse that hasn't missed the placings in his 6th start, but still does a stack wrong, like, is he the most talented horse in this field? Yeah.
Like, is he the... I've actually written this point down. Who are the best sprinters in this field? You could probably argue, like, Cylinder, yeah. Shinzo, because they got the Everest slot. I reckon it's probably King's Gambit because he does so much wrong. If he puts it all together...
But he just gets there.
If he puts it all together, he will blow this field away.
Yeah, he will.
Now, I'm torn if I'm putting him in my betting strategy because he's my 2nd pick. I'm definitely putting Stretan Angel in there. But for him, I'm going to have to decide. I'm torn. I'm Nelly and Bruglia torn because I just need to kind of have a think about it. And to be honest, I'm just going to have to commit on the morning, and you'll see it across our Instagram when we post out our $100 strategies, whether or not I've included him or not. But if I actually back him on the day, I have to watch the mounting yard. Because if he's melting in the yard, there's no way I'm backing him. 0.
So fair. He's not in my betting strategy. I'm chucking $75 on Shinzo to win, and I'm going to have $25 on Stapati. And of the horses coming back from the Guineas to the sprint distance down the straight, like, he's got the one who's got that experience and might just be a better sprinter than a miler. So I don't mind the freshen up for him at $12. Like I can afford to have some cash on him at that price, and he also gives me that vibe where he could put together a performance that's just better than these. You know what I mean? So happy to see it. The rest that could have a little bit of a look at, I guess. Drifters. I'm Unstoppable, who was beaten by Stretan Angle, but I think beaten fair and square. This has always been his grand final. But again, he wouldn't surprise, and I'm happy to take him on. Osmosis, happy to take on. I think his grand final was first up to try and get him into an Everest, and he won there, but failed the next start.
1,200 metres for him, I think, is a query as well.
Agreed. And one at big odds who completely failed in the Golden Rose, but I heard Will Bourne, the bloodstock manager of Kieran Maher and Dave Eustace, give a massive push forward, was number 16 at Dahl. So if you want to spec something in your multiples may be worthwhile, but you're getting a good price about a lot of these that you probably don't need to play like that. I won't be.
Yeah, I to round out my top 3, I put in V8 as well.
He's the one you want to take out of the Guineas?
Yeah, in a really, I think you could probably trust that Guineas form because it was just such a medium pace that you probably they can bounce into another grand final, I reckon. Whereas
I think so.
The Everest is, for me at least, the way I'm looking at it is you probably want to take, for me, Shinzo out of Shinzo and Cylinder, because Cylinder he had a genuine run in there, whereas Shinzo was held up a bit.
Yeah, he was. So I am happy to take Shinzo just on the trust that put a line through his first 2 runs. And yeah, look, could I have egg on my face? Massively, but I'd much prefer to risk having egg on my face than not back him in on top and see him brain these and not have anything on.
So you have $3.80 the field for the Coolmore Stud Stakes. Now you have...
Do you know who is a couple of studs, mate?
Who's that?
2 of us.
Oh, really?
Look at this. I reckon we could take our place in this field.
Explosive studs, you reckon?
Yeah. Explosive Dan. Explosive DJ.
Explosive Jack.
Explosive Jack.
Oh, he was good to me eventually. The Victoria Derby, 2,500 metres, 3-year-old set weights. I'd say this is probably one of the worst editions that we've seen. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
Do you like it?
Do I like the race?
Yeah.
I don't typically like the race, full stop, mate.
Neither do I.
No.
It's tough.
So is this a weaker edition than what we've seen? Mate, to be honest, there hasn't been a lot of strong ones.
True.
So I'd say it's probably pretty average. Mid. The definition of mid. Am I overly excited by it? Not really. Yeah. So the thing that frustrates me about the Derby, though, and this is all the Derbies, this one included, which is arguably the best, is so many of these will never do anything ever again.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what frustrates me. Like there's a lot of traffic cones in this race, drifters. Look, the 2 of us aren't traffic cones. We were just talking about, we belong in the Coolmore Stud Stakes down the straight. We get in there, have a crack. Tell you what, there's a lot of people who comment on our social media posts who probably belong in this race as a traffic cone. Hey?
Whatever your name is.
Yeah, whatever your name is. Go dig a hole and fill it in. Look, I'm with the top 2 in the market. I'm with Riff Rocket and Apulia. Drifters, I'm going to be completely honest, I don't know which one to put on top. I'm torn between, am I happy to take Riff Rocket out of a slowly run race, or am I against him because of that? I'm really not sure. I'm a bit Natalie Imbruglia torn. Whereas Apulia, I think, as he's come up in distance, he's come out of that same Riff Rocket race where he's basically walked and had no chance of winning. He's run into 4th, backed up a week later, trailed behind Vidad, who went pretty quick and just got away from him. And I didn't see anything from that performance from Apulia that suggests that he won't relish stepping up 2,500 metres. He's out of Fiorente, who's a Melbourne Cup winner. So this bloke's going to stay the distance. He's still got his nuts. And I'm thinking the Hayes boys are almost treating this like a Melbourne Cup prep, where it's like, get the miles in his legs, quick back up, quick back up, quick back up. He's probably going to be the fittest horse in the race. And sometimes it's good enough to win these. He's drawn well. I'm probably leaning to him over the top of Riff Rocket, but Riff Rocket could also, put another performance together like he did at Flemington last start and just brain these. So they're the two. What's my betting strategy? Probably 50 on each at this stage. Cashback if Riff Rocket wins, and a decent enough collective if Apulia wins. But outside of those, like roughies, don't mind the nose roll. Number 8, Gates.
Bill.
Yeah, Billy Gates. Good price of 15, so I don't mind him. So, yeah, that's where I'm sort of seeing it at the moment.
Who's going to lead this race?
For Dad?
Yeah, I think they learned a lesson there.
Yeah.
That they probably don't want to lead. I think he was way better coming from backwards in the Guineas.
The South Australian thing?
Yeah, maybe. Air assault, yeah, maybe. I kind of envision maybe like gold bullion maybe from out wide and maybe a couple of these absolute roughies down the bottom, or Rated Warrior or Tokyo Run at $126 with the good people in Neds.
Are you getting Johnny Get Angry vibes from this derby?
I am. Big time.
And Riff Rocket short in this race, just like young Werther was.
Yeah, but Riff Rocket, this is his second prep and not his third run or fourth run of his career.
I'm not saying they're the same horse, but guess who got sucked into young Werther that day?
You did.
Your boy.
I didn't.
You didn't.
I had Hit the Shot who ran second.
Yeah.
And we never saw him again. So your point about Apulia is really well found. 8,800 metres of running in races that he's done this prep.
Has he? There you go. So that was completely gut instinct that I said that, Drifters.
And, Bart Cummings used to have the 10,000 metre rule heading into a Melbourne Cup. He just wanted all these things just rock hard fit. So he's the fittest horse in the race. Like, I think he's going to be in the finish.
Yeah.
Is he in my betting strategy? No. Because he's an early season 3-year-old because I just can't trust that he's like, you have to trust the stable that he's like resilient enough to be there, right? But
I think so.
Absolutely. But
yeah.
I'm just looking for something with a little bit more value.
A little bit more juice.
So we saw Apulia jump out of the ground on the quick backup, right? I can really see. I'm really warming to this air assault to do the exactly the same thing. I don't know if the Justifiers can get out to 2,500, but I think they can do anything.
The Justifiers can do anything, mate.
So
particularly like against this slot.
Own age. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Against his own age.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I love the Hill Stakes as a form reference for the Derby. I think it stacks up every year, whether it's in the Wakeful or whether it is in the Derby. It's usually a really good race that you can trust at Morphettville. It's probably the best race that they actually have all year. Loved his run in the Vars. He was only getting warm late. The other one, so I'm going to have 40 each way on him because he's that price that you can.
Ridiculous price.
Now, there's a sensational roughie in this field as well. B Shin on for Trent Buston and Natalie Young.
They're on fire at the moment.
Cos Guy. Was third in the Geelong Classic. Only got warm late. Now, he was beaten 12.5 lengths to Riff Rocket. That gives me Johnny Get Angry vibes. Big time. Because he was absolutely smoked by all those leading into it.
I still can't believe he won that race.
So he was beaten 2.5 lengths in the Geelong Classic, but if there's one horse that I can guarantee is going to stay this trip, it is this thing. I guarantee it. So at 40 to 1, I'm gonna have 5 on him to win and 15 to place because it'll be about $8 to place on the day, I reckon. So I'll still make a little collect, basically break even on him if he places. Nice profit if he wins. So, but yeah, it's a bit of a head scratcher.
Big head scratcher.
Now, I was also perplexed by the Empire Rose. This was tough. This was very, very tough.
This is tough. Geez, I wish I had a play at this before the fields were finalised. But anyway. All right, so the starting point for me is the quick backup for Wish Law Lass. Will it work out? Yet to be seen. She's been great. Her
Airborne.
last 2 starts. Airborne. I like Simon Wilde coming out and being like, hey, I'm going to strike while the iron's hot and just have a crack at this. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. Could she win it? potentially, is there a lot more pressure up front in this race from what I can see at the speed map?
Shitloads.
Way more. Did she carry the top weight and still kick away last start?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was she peaking though? Potentially.
Against the C graders? Yes.
Yes. But a mare in form, winning form's good form. Like, she's $8. Would have loved to have seen double figures for her. I still think she's a winning chance. I can see her leading and looking the winner, but 60, 70, 80 metres to go, they just start to wear her down. So I think she's a winning chance. But I do think this is an afterthought for her. She's got a couple of group wins on the board, which is great for her as a broodmare later on. And I think they're just like, look, she's in great form. Let's just have a throw at the stumps. So I'm probably happy to take her on. And then you're thinking to yourself, oh, shit, who does that leave? I'm tossing up between two. One got absolutely dogged the punters last start. That's number 2, Princess Grace.
Ugh.
Exactly. Gets beaten as a $1.70 pop last start after having form around Mr. Brightside, Fangirl, so on and so forth. Wink Stakes, Memsey Stakes, Mackay Diva Stakes, and then the Rose of Kingston Group 2. She gets done by Life Lessons. She was the toppy there. She was a horrific bet in that race. Like, Drifters, if you're listening to me right now, after my good friend Daniel and I told you not to get on her that race, and you still did,
shame on you.
Shame on you. But for what it's worth, she's $7 here. I think that's worth a bet, like, in this race. Because if she does take that Wink Stakes, bright side form sort of stuff into this race, then yeah, that's good enough to win this. The other one I'm warming into, and I'm probably going to have on top, is number 1, Alcohol Free. She was great last start.
I can understand that.
On the quick backup, I think they've been trying to make her a sprinter in Australia, and yeah, her overseas form reads that, but sprinting there, sprinting here, different gravy. Want to see her out over the mile. Draws perfectly. There's only one Opie Bosson. Interesting booking, I thought. Draws well. I think she'll be up in the first third. And she's been contesting some fucking hard races since she's come over here. And I think this is an easy Group 1 to win in comparison to our others. Got a bit of class. Form around Ruthless Dame, Magic Time, Espiona, and she was very close to them. Quick backup. This stable nails that more often than they don't. Like $5.50. I was looking at her, double figures in Neds just before final field. So a bit angry with myself at that. But she's my on toppy. I'm probably going to have something like 50 each way on her because a bit of a Rubik's Cube.
I would agree with that. During the week, if you saw our Twitter account or if you saw our...
I know who you have a bone to pick with.
Yeah. Outside of that, but I put out 3 of them. So at least one of them struck, and it was the one at the largest price, Shuffle Dancer. Shuffle Dancer was $51, the outsider in the field in the all-in markets. You don't get that price anymore. She's into $23 with Neds now. So I've got a nice ticket on her already. She needed to draw well to be a chance in this race. She's drawn barrier 2, Luke Nolan on for the nose rolls. And I think she's been really super this prep. She's been lugging into those losing margins each start. And yeah, if there's a boil over, I feel like she's the one. So she will be in my betting strategy. Now, when this market first came out this morning, number 4, Tissue, was your $5 favourite. Is she in your top 4, your betting strategy? Is she in any of your considerations?
Did I look at her? Yes. Do I think the fact that she's won a Group 1 is a miracle? Yeah. Like, she's pretty good. She's pretty good.
Goldilocks.
So couldn't possibly.
Like, she's stood in the gates before. I can't possibly.
No, if you take her at, well, she's now $6 with the good people at Ned's, and she wins, good on you. Am I prepared to take that risk? No,
absolutely not.
No way. And that's the first thing I notice when I'm looking at this is like all the horses that are relatively short in the market. Like, who am I happy to take on? And she's the one I'm happy to take on.
Absolutely, 100%. So then I'm thinking back. All right, who's been in the most elite races this prep? And it's probably the top 3 in the the top 3 weights. You have Alcohol Free and an Everest and the Invitation against Espiona, who's probably the most informed mare at the moment in Australia.
Arguably, yes.
Princess Grace has been, she's been good, but she hasn't been winning. And then Hope in Your Heart, what's she done wrong? My query on her has been, and the reason why I haven't been with her at all this prep for her 3 runs has been because she's been on those hard Sydney tracks. Now, the King Charles, from all reports, that was basically a firm 2. Craig Williams called that, and I quote, concrete. Now, in the Epsom, she only finished 2 lengths behind him there, and she had 54 kilos where Redina had 50 on his back. She was the second mare home. The first one home was Barbie's Fox. Now, Barbie's Fox drew 16 here, and Hope in Your Heart has drawn 1. Now, she's typically up the arse end, but I reckon she could be about midfield with TC on.
He'll get her out of the gates.
So if she might get that ice bath run up on the fence from last year, I think she's the one I'm really warming to, and Shuffle Dancer is obviously one that I want to have a bet on as well. So in terms of exact staking, you'll have to come back to me. I'll probably do something like $50 on Hope in Your Heart to win, and then 25 each way on Shuffle Dancer.
Yep.
All right, let's a Golden Eagle.
Let's go.
Golden Eagle. So 1,500 meters for the 4-year-old set weights. I think the horses that have drawn really nicely here are Hawaii 5-0, Pericles, Osipenko, Amelia's Jewel, Oban Burumai, the Japanese horse, and Amelia's Jewel, I would have thought. Legarto, sorry. Missed her out.
Is this the best Golden Eagle so far?
I think it's right up there. Imagine if Giga Kick was here.
I think even with him not being here, this is the best I've seen.
It's pretty good.
And it's a terrific betting race. Reminds me of the Cox Plate of last week, Drifters. Just because, like, you can make a case for so many of these.
Gotcha.
So for me, the barrier draw was so important.
Yep.
For a lot of these. So some big winners and big losers.
Kovalika. Very 16.
You take him back and you just hope.
I think there'll be genuine enough speed.
There'll be speed on.
$10 million on offer.
There'll be speed on. I've been tossing and turning, sleepless nights, thinking about this race. Drifters. I'm going to go through and say who I think are winning chances.
Sure.
Is that okay?
Yep. Do you want to go?
You can go. I'll take odds. You take evens.
Well, some of these I actually don't know who they are. Some of these Europeans and stuff. So you just say your winning chances. I'll say mine.
Okay, cool. Hawaii 5-0, yes. Attrition, yes. Pericles, yes. I think Kovalika can win. I think Amelia's Jewel can win. I think Ruthless Dame can win. I think Legarto can win. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay. I've got Hawaii 5-0, Attrition, Pericles, Kovalika, Osipenko. I have Oban Burumai. I have Amelia's Jewel, Legarto. So 8.
Yeah.
Half the field.
Yeah.
So
then it's about whittling it down.
Well, then it comes down to the draws. So you go like to 2.
So yeah, it comes out of the draw. I'm in love with Amelia's Jewel. I'm in love with her.
Even though she kind of like cheated on you last start or something?
She did, but I was concerned about it. I had an inkling she was cheating on me before the Turak. And by all reports, she's bounced out of that and it's all good and blah, blah, blah. And like, yeah, I trust Simon Miller. Like he seems like a trustworthy guy.
He is.
Yeah, Simon Miller. What you see is what you get with him. Draws a gate finally, sits closer. She's definitely a winning chance. If she wasn't called Amelia's Jewel after last start in the Turak, would she be $4.60 with the good people at Neds? What price was I Wish I Win last year after he failed in the Turak?
$10.
Is she I Wish I Win?
And I think they came for him late as well.
Did they?
Pretty sure. I think he started around 9s.
Okay. Yeah, so, geez, that's a short price.
Isn't it? That's a really good comparison.
Yeah.
Well done.
Not just a pretty face, mate. Full of shit today.
So, there's form references so far. There's been 4 winners to date, I'm pretty sure.
You're getting to the perfect segue. Getting to the exact point that I was trying to make.
Okay. So, there's 2 main form references. One of them is the Epsom. So, the Epsom has provided Colette and Colding. Now, one of them won that. And Colette had a really nice run running on, but I think the track conditions helped her on the day.
Yeah, it was a slushy conditions.
It was. And then you had the 2 racks. So, I'm Thunderstruck and I Wish I Win from last year.
Exactly. And I think they're the form races again.
Yep.
Hawaii 5-0, $4.20 as well. Like, he's one at mine. I really like Hawaii 5-0. He's a good horse, but not here.
Sprinter?
I think he's a 1,400 metre horse max.
Okay.
Can he win this year? I think he can because he's against his own age. He's got Hot Nash on who's going to come back with a vengeance.
He's angry, isn't he?
He's coming back with a vengeance, Nash.
I missed out on running 15th on Montefilia.
I would have got Fangirl over the line in the Cox Plate. Like,
oh, I forgot that. God damn it.
He would have. I reckon because it's Hot Nash.
Fuck, he is hot.
He's so hot.
Damn.
I'm happy to risk Hawaii 5-0 here. I just think the setup from the Everest, like he's not kick. Wouldn't be surprised to see him win. Happy to take him on. I was devastated with attrition's pool. 19 out of 20. Because he's $26. I was looking at futures and I was looking at like the top 4 in the market when I was looking at futures on Neds. And he wasn't in there.
I'm still scrolling.
Where's attrition? Where is he? I can't find him anywhere. I couldn't believe it. He won the 2-rack fair and square.
Yes.
He won it fair and square. And he's also, if you look at his form more closely, he's only just lost to Legarto by the smallest margin. You could call him unlucky. Yes, he fouled in the Underwood. Forget about that. He's run second to Pinstriped in the fee and arguably should have won that race and therefore taken place in a Cox Plate. And before that, in the PB Lawrence, had a great run into 5th.
He's had a great prep.
He's had a fantastic prep. Oh, even from gate 19, mate, $26 for the good people at Neds. Like, are you shitting and pissing?
Stupid price.
Stupid price. He won the 2-rack. And Tino's come in and nearly beat Prowess.
Nearly?
He'll start single figures in the Champion Stakes next weekend. $7 or $8 maybe. Oh, he's just couldn't believe my eyes. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw his price.
Yep.
And then you got my guy Pericles. Did he draw well? Yes. I said at the start of the prep, he's in for a good prep. He won the Tramway, 1,400 metres, looking for a mile, has a setback. I reckon he would have won the Hill Stakes, has a setback. I reckon he would have won the Epsom, has a setback. Comes back, freshen up, Silver Eagle, 1,300 metres, not his jam. Carrying the top weight. Drew Sticky, gate 10, Zach Purton. At the moment, he's a brick. All of that was against him. And he ran 3rd, which was a perfect lead-up run into this. He's $12 with the good people at Neds. He's my on-top selection, Pericles. Gate 1, Benny Mellum, I reckon he could do a little sneaky griff and just be like, I'll take the lead.
Yeah, oh yeah. I have him leading.
I'll take the lead.
Yep.
I'll take the lead. I just think he's a really good horse, Pericles. He's my on-toppy. Kovalika, could win. But I think he's, again, just going to come home really strong for a second or third. He could do a Fangirl. Could have egg on my face.
Yep.
Amelia's Jewel, I'm in love with you, girl. And I would be happy to see you win. I just think she's too short of a price. And like, she was so flat in the 2-rack. Like, you'd be a brave man to take $4.60 with the good people. I think she's drifted massively already. Shit scared of Legarto.
Well,
petrified.
She's my on top.
She's so good.
I think she could brain these.
Yeah.
That's how good she is.
Yeah.
Like, she got through that heavy track last start.
Doesn't want it.
Soft track. Doesn't want that.
Doesn't want that.
And she's arguably way better the Sydney way of going, apparently. That's what the stable say. The confidence that comes out from this camp, they're basically like, that she could, similar to Amelia's Jewel, we could set her for any race and she'd basically win it. I've been waiting for her to come to this race, and I cannot believe you're getting $8.50.
Unbelievable. She's been for the last few months, except for the last couple of weeks, she's been favourite.
Mate, so this is when I did some early market shopping on like Monday, right? She drifted to $9. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I'm taking that into some doubles. So I got that, and I think if she starts $8 or north of that, I will be shocked. I'll be shocked if she does that. So she's my clear on top selection, drawn well. Mick D, you could just see him smiling, the Victorian taking the Sydney money.
Weaving his way through the pack.
Yep. So, and with Amelia's Jewel, I agree. I think heading into a grand final of this class, you can't afford any setbacks. You really can't. So I don't even think I have her in my top 4. So
what if she plays up again in the mounting yard?
Exactly. Like big day, a lot of people. Like, yeah, we've seen it firsthand, mate. She's proven to be a bit of a flighty filly.
She is.
So happy to take her on. The others in my numbers are, Kovalika as well. Kovalika. I think he'll be running in like Queen Elizabeth in the autumn, right? But
yeah,
I think he's good enough to feature here still.
I think so. My thing with him is, like he nearly won the Epsom, nearly. He was in the King Charles Stakes. Yeah, he was coming home for a really nice run. Like, but I think he might be, if he draws out, a little bit of a Goldilocks horse. Like he's this year's version of Fangirl for mine. Like, and Fangirl nearly won it, but from that gate, like Tommy Berry on, great, but he's got to go back. And I think there's just others who've drawn better who he's not that much better than. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's not a freak.
At this distance,
Yeah,
I agree. The one who I think has finally been found, and we said this about a month ago. So we would have said this on the 8th of October after his Turnbull run. So, and that's Osipenko. So how's this for some form this prep? First up in the Wing Stakes, he was beaten 1.2 lengths behind Fangirl. Goes to the Mems, he stays at the 1400, probably wants a bit further, beaten 2.7 lengths in the Memsy behind Mr. Brightside. Goes to the mile, beaten 2 lengths by Mr. Brightside, and Mackay Diva fails in the Turnbull, where, you know, he was only 2.5 lengths behind a Cox Plate winner in Romantic Warrior. That's the context you have to have it. That was 4 weeks ago, freshened up here. Against his own age, we tipped that out at $26. He's going to start $10, $12 on the day. Osipenko, I can easily see him winning.
Yeah, this is a tough race. This is the toughest edition I've seen by far for me to dive into. At this stage, I'm just going to have 50 each way on Pericles because there's too many that I need to stake on to get a return of all the winning chances. And he's going to start, probably about $3 to play. So
yep.
That's how I'm going to play it.
I agree. I'm going 50 each way on Legarto, but you better believe that I will be having some quinellas in this race. So I'll be having, I reckon this is how I'll have it, right?
Let's get weird and exotic.
I'll be having Legarto with Kovalika, Attrition, Oban Buramai, and I reckon Osipenko,
I don't get weird like that, drifters. I'm going to have me each way bet, and if I get beaten, it is what it is.
All right, let's go back to Flemington. So what I wanted to raise with you go to the Carbine Club, race 1, 1,600 metres Group 3 for the 3-year-old set weights penalties. A very interesting jockey booking on Brave Mead. Same connections as Gold Trip, Australian Bloodstock, and they've booted him off. Jamie Spencer goes on. I think that's fascinating.
I think it's fascinating too. I was tossing up between him though. I was on him last start, thanks to the victims' tips. Chris Waller likes this race, doesn't he?
Yeah, he brought Pungo to this race last year.
Fangirl won this, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
So influential, if you look at its form out of the Super Maiden Handicap after being gelded in the winter in Kembla, he put that field to the sword. Like Chris Waller clearly has an opinion of this pony if he's bringing it to a race like this. So I'm tossing up between Brave Mead and Influential for the first. Brave Mead's got the runs on the board, so probably leaning towards him. But not really too keen to play in this race.
I'm pretty keen. I'm pretty keen on Brave Mead to get the job done in the first, like he did on Caulfield Cup Day, I believe. I think it mimight be because there are only 9 runners. I can't see Influential running, and it could be like, say, in the coffin on the fence or even a pair further back, because the speed has drawn out here. So I think they'll take it across. Like I see Ezra leading with the likes of Critique, Kaizad, and potentially even He-Man going forward. And I just kind of see Brave Me just being
Slotting in.
Oh, just in the perfect slot. Perfect slot. Like one pair back, one off the fence.
Hasn't indicated that he won't like the mile either.
Yeah. So I'm keen on him to get the job done in the first. Now, this is a disgusting race.
This is disgusting.
The Archer. Now, was the Lexus 2,500 metres Group 3 winning you're into the Melbourne Cup. Now, Athabaskan, I believe, is now in the 24th in the order of entry. So he kind of needs to defend his spot from basically Ladies Man, United Nations, and mostly Cloudy because they've still got to hold a nomination. I just found this putrid, disgusting.
This is a tough race. So tough. Look, the Buston and Natalie Young, Trent Buston and Natalie Young stable, they are flying at the moment. And they've got a horse here, mostly Cloudy, who, like you said, still holds a nom. So I think it'll be here to run really well. And I'd much rather find out at the $5.50 with the good people in Ned's. It gets a bit of weight relief too. Timmy Clark should roll forward, I'd expect, on mostly Cloudy. But again, Calipore maybe?
Yeah, I've gone Ladies Man, the New Zealand horse. So won a Group 1 last start against the likes of Call Sign Mav. I've written them down here. Who else? Call Sign Mav, Platinum Invader, Mustang Valley, Defibrillate. Remember him?
Yep.
And he was $5.50 third favourite that race. So, and he was over the 2,000 metres, but he's one of their better stayers, I'd say. So he's had 7 runs at 2,000 metres or further, and he's never been outside the top 4. Now, you couldn't say that for a lot of these.
No.
God, no. Obviously, they don't have the same class as we do here, but for their stays, I think they're pretty good. So, Ladies Man, I'm happy to have a spec at about $7.50 that he can get the job done here, but Athabaskan, obviously, but he's come up $2.50, and he was awfully unlucky in the Moonee Valley Gold Cup, but he probably does appreciate a bit more cut out of the ground as well, whereas Ladies Man likes it a bit harder underfoot. Athabaskan actually does meet mostly Cloudy, 1.5 kilos better at the weights from the Bart Cummings as well. So if you like that galloper, they finished a couple of lengths away from each other, which, weight does mean a lot in these staying distances. Now, race 3 was the Furphy Sprint. It's the, how would you say that?
Begonia Bell?
Sure.
Begonia Bell?
Or as we like to say, the Asfura Stakes or the Tofane Stakes.
Oh, just the Get Out Stakes last year. Gee whiz, Asfura, thank you, Lord Jesus Christ Almighty. 1,100
metres, Group 3 for the mares, set weights and penalties. Before you get stuck in here, I did some research because I thought Zapateo was quite an interesting acceptor here. She's dual accepted into the Giga Kick Stakes. I'm going to say this and you say which race you'd be heading to. So this is her last 5 runs in mares grade. She ran 3rd behind Sunshine in Paris and Espiona, first up. She ran before that 3rd in the Sangster behind Ruthless Dame and that Adelaide thing, another award. She won the Sapphire at Group 2 level by 2.5 lengths, beating Never Talk and Princess Grace. And then she won the Group 3 birthday card, beating Jal Lay and Hypothetical. And then she ran 4th in this race last year behind Asfura. Versus Think About It and Private Eye.
Oh, it's a tough decision to make.
The book jockeys in both regions. So I have no idea where she's going.
Well, J-Max on here. She's the toppy. You look at her prep so far, and it is a little bit disappointing, but she's been racing in sprint races in Sydney against some pretty good opposition. So I completely understand why she's favourite here. I remember first up she was scratched, and that was the race that Remark won, and there was a bit of a push for her there. So what would Remark do to these? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can definitely see her winning. I'm mare in form is one thing, mare out of form is another thing, So there's a horse here who I think will run super well, and it's actually got pretty good form at the moment for Melbourne. That's number 6, Rose Courts. So form around She Dances. She Dances has been great this prep. Form around Vivienne. It failed last start, but I think that was an end of prep run. It still ran 3rd or 4th. It's ran 2nd to both of those. If you look at its stats down the straight, which I like to look at, 6 starts, 2 wins, 2 seconds. So This is a straight horse specialist. Blake Shin on will appreciate, I think, the good deck too. So Rose Court's $6 is probably the way I'm leaning, I'd say, drifters. Zapateo, a little bit scared of. Do you know who could bounce back here?
Tell me. Red Card.
Red Card could bounce back here, but have to see it.
Yeah, happy to risk her.
What are you thinking?
I was keen on Zapateo.
Yeah.
The more I thought about it, it's like, well,
She's better.
she's
better.
I think she's proven like a mare's grade sprinter, and like I don't think she'd be too scared of many of these. And then I came to Rose Courts as well because she was 3 wide, no cover against She Dances. She held on bloody well there to only miss by just over length. The other one is Dancing on my Pat Malone.
Yeah, dancing alone as well. Yep.
Billy Egan, who can't do no wrong. Coming out of benchmark 70 and 78 form.
Hard to hear.
One of the great things that we love to see in a steward's report, lost a plate in the run.
Did it?
And it still brained him. So it's won by 2 lengths at Caulfield in a benchmark 78. Massive step up. 55 kilos, so it's only giving Zapateo on the 3 kilos. It might be a run too soon, but she's racing fantastically well. But Zapateo on top for me. Race 4, the Rising Fast, 1200 metres Group 3 handicap. Any firm opinion here?
No firm opinion. Look, if you
seem like a spacewalk guy.
Fuck. Look, I'm leaning towards Triple Missile, number 5 Triple Missile on this Lindsay Smith table. Look, I think all I need to really see to justify betting on it in this race really is the second to Star Patrol down the straight.
Yep.
Comes here again. J-Mac on, draws well. With the good people at Ned's, it's $3.90. Like I'm happy enough to see that to bet into it. Spacewalk over 1,200 metres. That's a query for mine. Starting price profile, though, could bounce back and win here for sure, but happy to take it on. CS Magique, we've said a couple of times, need to see it. So happy to take her on. Chain of Lightning carries almost a top weight. I think she's better in mare's grade, so it's our time, lol. Garza Bianca, yeah, I'm probably leaning towards Triple Missile.
Yep. This is the easiest race that Chain of Lightning has contested since September last year. She has been exclusively in majority of Group 1 grade.
She has, yeah.
And Group 2 grade. So I think she is a really, really competitive chance here. And she was nominated for 2 different races as well. And they've pulled the trigger here where she had more weight. So I think they think that this is her race. She was she was beaten by 3 lengths to Asfura first start. And she was chasing down Uncommon Janes, who I think ran 3rd last week.
Yep, 3rd to IME, yep.
And in Pericles.
That was a given.
Yeah. So I think that you could kind of tap into that form, but Triple Missile is the other one. So Triple Missile, $4. I'm probably leaning a little bit towards the nose roll in Chain of Lightning with Billy Egan, but J-Mac Triple Missile, Triple Missile only just missed in this race last year as favourite behind Argentia as well. So I'm keen on both of them. The Wakeful. Now, Zardozi is your $2.30 favourite. She'd just go out there and spank these.
She is very good. I'm taking her on more of a heart bet than a head bet with the Johnny Sargent filly, number 4.
I agree.
I like the prep. The reason why I like the prep is because she's won the Oaks trial at 1,800 metres, takes her back to 1,550 metres, on the Kenzo, where she was coming home like a freight train. And Johnny Sargent is an absolute genius with these Oaks types. Been well documented. Lol. Which I think was basically him being like, okay, let's just freshen her up. This is just to get some more meters in her legs, some more mileage in her legs. Let's take her here to the Wakeful with the GF being the Oaks, but really like this filly. I backed her in the Oaks trial actually. Oh, no, I talked about backing her. That was the day that Mira Massa talked about backing her, but I actually didn't because I'm an idiot. Yeah, I'm keen on her, basically. Basically, yeah. Highly missed.
I'm going to copy what you did. Control C, Control V.
Yeah.
I'm extremely keen. First, the older mares back on the Kenzo, just, back to 1,550. She still had the audacity to hit the line. Zardozi out in barrier 10 as well. They're going to take their medicine and they're going to ride her extremely quiet, knowing that her grand final is a few more days away. Whereas Harlow Miss she'll be in the coffin just behind the speed, I reckon. She'll have the perfect run. She just needs equal luck, get out, bang, bang. Blake Shin. Who else would you want on?
Hot Nash.
True. Now, Damien Oliver, he deserves better than this. 1,400 metres Group 2 handicap. I just don't know where to look in this field.
Oh, look, you could look at it one way, and his last ride in Derby Day, in a race called the Damien Oliver on Valana, like he could just, the omen's so strong that he could just come out and win. But Valana, I think we've established, wants a little bit of cut in the ground. His best brains these, but I think his Padawan, his compadre, number 5, Tamer Lane, will win this. If you actually look at his form, sneaky good. Beats home Just Folk and Umgawa last start. Umgawa we saw one at the Valley last week. 5th with start before that, around Redina, in a handicap race. But he was backed as if unbeatable last start. 1,400 metres over Group 4. Flemington likes the track. J-Mac on. Gate 1. He'll be in the right spot. Tamer Lane for me in the last.
Yep.
I'm hoping that I probably would have. How many races has there been up until this point? 8. I'm probably going to be 8 from 8. So I'm just wanting to go 9 for 9.
Yeah, I might have to see. Might have to get the victim on the phone to give me a hand here because the horses I've circled in the form guide is quite sickening.
Ayrton?
No, I haven't gone that way. But it's Ayrton's cousin. So I've got Munimek is my start. I've got 3 at odds that I reckon I could back and still turn a profit here. That's how wide I've gone. Number 8, Munimek. So Queensland form. Nick Ryan had an absolute fill-up today at Bendigo. Blake Shin apparently had one of the greatest rides of all time there today as well.
Oh, really?
And we saw what he did on Coolmore from the outside barrier. He could do the same here on Munimek, who apparently is flying.
Good to hear.
So,
it's on $1.2 million.
I know. It's great stuff. The second one, I cannot believe this horse's name is about to come out of my mouth. That's number 12, Carlino. So, mate, it beat
Umgawa.
Yeah, it beat Umgawa, Detonator Jack. You know who else it beat that day? Antino. That was the Antino race.
Yeah.
Now, Antino should have won that by about 5 lengths.
Should have.
But someone has to win it when he doesn't. So I actually like that it's 6 weeks in between runs here. Freshen up. You look at his first up profile, it's 3 from 5. So I think this horse is actually over the odds with respectable jockey Jai McNeil in the saddle as well. For Chris Waller. And you know who's the absolute blowout, and I reckon everyone should chuck in their quaddie, is number 14 Williamsburg, and I'll tell you why. You look at its prep here, it's been in the Shannon Stakes behind Cepheus, who's just, going to lob up and win the big dance, It ran 3 lengths in behind in the Epsom, and then it's finished 2.5 lengths behind in the Silver Eagle. This horse's grand final, it would have been trained up for a Golden Eagle. So I reckon, what's the next best thing? They've come down to Melbourne. Never been on its Melbourne leg. If it could just explode, because it's actually been, mate, it was running derbies in the autumn. Like it's a strange prep, but
Pretty sure he started as bloody spring champion favourite.
yeah. So
in front of Sharp and Smart idiots.
So at $19, I reckon you could have worse roughies in your quaddie.
Of course you could, mate.
So yeah, this looks like a field leg to me. My God, it's extremely tough.
It is.
All right, let's go to Rosehill. Let's go to the Giga Kick Stakes, and we'll end on this one, hey? Unless there's another one that I've forgotten.
There's the Rose Gold
yes.
Cup.
Yep. So we'll end on that. So the Giga Kick Stakes, this should be pretty quick. Racing 2 for me. The proven thoroughbreds.
Yeah, it's between the proven thoroughbreds. Look, think about it's a $1.80 favourite because makes sense, and you could argue that he's better out over 1,300 metres than he is 1,200 metres. But Private Eye had a tough run in the Everest and nearly won.
He had a tough run first up too.
So he wouldn't surprise if he got the chockies here, but think about it'll be very hard to beat. But something interesting as well. This isn't weight for age.
No. So a kilo better at the weights, which I don't think really matters.
Yeah, but sometimes it can just be the little difference. Could be a bob.
True.
But think about it. Draws perfectly again. Some horses just kissed on the dick. He'll be very hard to beat. This is a watch race for me.
Kissed on the flap.
Yeah. Kissed on the little empty purse.
Yeah. I'm just going to have a spec on Private Eye. Why not?
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's a fantastic bet.
Yeah, it's like I did the exact same thing last year.
Yeah, and he won.
And lost him running. Talk about where are they now. All right, the Rosehill Gold Cup. This is tough, mate. And to be honest, Drifters, because we record on Wednesday, I have not done my Canberra Legend form. And Northern Hemisphere 3-year-old who's running against the likes of Continuous, Castle Way, Gregory, Desert Hero, Chess Piece. Like I'm familiar with some of those names, right? But in terms of like putting the puzzle pieces together, I'm not 100% sure. And he's the $2.60 favourite.
He could just be better than these, mate. Is it a betting race for me? Not at this stage, Drifters, but I'd be very, very wary of Canberra Legend.
The other horse who's dual accepted is Renaissance Woman, so she's in the Empire Rose and in this race, which is extremely annoying. But it's the cards we're dealt. Stroke of Luck was quite good last start in that benchmark 88 where Mark West kind of failed. But he stepped up and he brained him.
Got the JD.
And he has the 52 kilos, but Canberra Legend has the 53. Mate, might have to get the victim on the phone as well because I need to line up this shock 'em over form. Mate, this thing has a good turn of foot.
It does have a good turn of foot, shock 'em over.
MD on board.
Yeah. Look, how we got home over the top of Hennessy Lad and Daiquiri last start was an absolute miracle. But yeah, look, this is a big step up, but winning form's good form. So
he's carrying 60 kilos in those races.
He is. So look, wouldn't absolutely surprise, but and another reason why I'm just happy to steer clear of this race because Canberra Legend should just be braining him, but do I want to dive in at that price? Probably not.
Probably not. Is the Coolmore the race that you're looking forward to the most?
Easily.
Golden Eagle?
Oh, sorry. Golden Eagle, but in Victoria, the Coolmore stud.
Yep.
I can't wait for the Golden Eagle, mate. It's going to be one of those races I feel where, like if Legarto pops up and wins, like I'm not going to be disappointed. If Amelia's Jewel does, I'm not going to be disappointed. If Covalika does, I'm not going to be disappointed because, like, I think all of them are winning chances. But you can only bet on one. You can only put one on toppy, and it'd be remiss for me to not pump up the tyres of Pericles the entire prep and not have him as my top selection. Because if he wins, he'd be the one I'd be most butthurt about winning if I didn't have him on top. That's my logic sometimes.
So
it's not an emotional game at all.
yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, Golden Eagle.
Yeah.
It's just, we said it last year or in the autumn that this group of 3-year-olds is pretty special. And it's a cracking race. And this Coolmore is scintillating. I think it's so fascinating.
It is. I just want to be better. I just want to be better. So I need to get on the phone to the victim. I'll probably do that. Probably have time to do that Friday afternoon, I'd say, drifters. And I'll have a much clearer understanding of where to go on Saturday. I'll share the information with you guys.
Yep. So we'll swing a few texts to the source, the victim, the Brisbane Bully, the Morpheville Mafia, the Perth Prince, and we'll get their tips for their separate jurisdictions, and you will find their tips. And the following has just come streaming in after we let this know. So give us a follow on Instagram on the Drift Podcast, and Saturday morning you'll see our Group 1 strategies on our feed, and you will see on our stories all of the tips for Brisbane, Adelaide, Victoria, Sydney, and Perth.
Yeah, and look, the source and the victim in particular have been seeing them like absolute beach balls, drifters. So get involved with the socials. You know, if you had a good day on the punt, let us know. Follow us on our socials. Go on to our wherever you listen to your podcast. 5 stars. Leave a review. All that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Admin, back of house.
Yeah. And back of house, we might put this part at the start of the next podcast because I reckon a lot of people would have turned off by now.
100%.
All right. Good luck. If you're gambling, do it responsibly. Do it with Neds. Hooroo.
See yous.